Okay. Well, hi and welcome everybody. I'm Janet Stevely, and I know lots of you, and so it's really fun to be able to do this with people I've actually met. The voice you're hearing in the back is Jess Craho, who's is another associate with Griffin-Hammis Associates, and Jess is helping us today with the technicalities of the webinar. So if you have any questions or something, just type them in the chat box. I can't actually see the chat box, so Jess is going to monitor that for me too. So welcome. This is the Discovery Online Mentoring Program walkthrough that is part of the Provider Capacity Development Project that's sponsored by Progressive Employment Concepts. So the Provider Capacity Development Project, as you know, some of that included some training on person-centered thinking. It included the ACRE training on customized employment. There is some on-site assistance to agencies, both through Carol Watillo, and I'm also going to be available for a couple of days in April and a couple of days in May. And then the Discovery Online Mentoring Project is a part of that whole bigger project. Because what we've learned through doing training and technical assistance on customized employment is that the training part, the 5-day training that you all went through, is just not enough. I mean, it's very essential for just building knowledge and helping people see the big picture. But what we found is it really to really implement customized employment, that people just need a little more guidance and walking through it kind of step at a time. And in the past, what we've done with lots of projects is we've just set it up so that like staff go through training, and then there's like monthly technical assistance for a year. But with the discovery piece in particular, that's been kind of hard because, as you know, discovery is meant to be a faster pace a process. We want to get people through discovery in like 6 to 9 weeks. And what we find is that people would wait for us to come back, right, each month. So they do one stage of discovery and then wait a month and do the next stage of discovery, and that just wasn't working. So who this particular project the online mentoring is designed for here is the sites participating in the Provider Capacity Development Project. And you are all staff who have already received your ACRE certification in customized employment through participating in the 5-day training. And we assume that most of you are fairly new to delivering customized employment, so that we'll be helping you kind of learn that first piece of discovery as we go. And to participate, that you've identified a job seeker who you'll be targeting through the online mentoring. So you'll be working with that one person, and we'll be reviewing information around that one job seeker. So the reason we're doing this is there's several reasons, really. Like I told you, the on-site assistance is great for some things, but for the discovery piece, the coming back once a month just wasn't working very well. So a couple things that this does, the online mentoring, is first, it provides better tracking of discovery being completed, and it's really helpful to see kind of where people are in the process and kind of help them get through it in a timely manner. And it provides more immediate support to you. I mean, you're not waiting, for a month for somebody to come back and give you feedback. It gets feedback right away. So it creates a quicker turnaround process. And while we say that discovery is generally like a 6 to 9 week process, we're giving 12 weeks for the mentoring course for a couple of reasons. A, it's your first time going through it, always takes a little longer. But also there's a little back and forth between us, because like what will happen is you'll be doing parts of discovery and then uploading your staging record. I'll be reviewing it and giving you feedback. And then, you may need to do some corrections or additions or things. So it goes back and forth a little bit. So we built in some extra time for that. But you'll get written guidance and feedback for each step along the way. And again, it's just more timely feedback that helps you keep moving and hopefully will result in more timely services for job seekers. And another cool thing about the mentoring program is it does provide some data, because we also ask you to track time and hours associated with that, and I think it will recreate a really good database to provide to funders or to other agencies that need that data. Like, how long is this really taking? You know, how much time really is involved in providing good discovery services? So to get started, this is the link, and I'll actually email this to you. So don't worry about copying it down right here. I'll email that to you today. And when you go to that link, that allows you to register. And I'm going to walk you through that after we do the PowerPoint piece here. So, but one piece of it is that it asks you when you go to register that you're kind of signing off that you've reviewed the expectations with your supervisor. And I'll show you the printout that you can review with the supervisor. And the main thing is we want to make sure that your agencies are recognizing how much of a time commitment it is, and that they're allowing you enough time to do this, because it's not really fair to ask people to do this and then not give them enough time, and then, you know, that doesn't work for anybody. So we're starting now, and we'll have the next 12 consecutive weeks. We've kind of created some guidelines to help people see like generally how far along they should be each week, and it's going to vary, of course, a little bit, but we want to keep people moving so that when the 12 weeks is over, we can kind of shut down the course or the mentoring. And while we want everybody to start fairly quickly, we know there are some things that hold you up. You know, your job seeker might not be quite ready to go. You might be waiting for authorizations from DOR or things like that. But hopefully you've got somebody who's fairly ready to go and in early stages and can start fairly quickly. The expectations for each employment specialist is just this, that there's some assigned readings and material for each stage of discovery, and this is really just a refresher from the ACRE training. So as you start each stage, there'll be a little bit of reading or some materials to look at to kind of get your head back around, you know, what that stage is about and what you need to do. We're assuming that over the course of the 12 weeks, you'll be putting in about 40 hours total. Some of this, I will tell you, the state that we developed this mentoring program for was Pennsylvania, because they're actually requiring it, that staff get training through the first couple of discovery staging records that they do, and that they're requiring that 40 hours be put in. California is not requiring that, but it's still sort of a general expectation that you probably will be spending about that much time over the 12 weeks. And then we're also asking that you complete the time logs, and I'll show you how that works. And then through each stage of discovery, you're just submitting your DSR one stage at a time for your mentor's review and approval. And I'm your mentor for all of you. So know that this can be done in less than 12 weeks. You don't have to stretch it out, but by the time the 12 weeks is up, we'll be kind of seeing where you're at, and hopefully everybody will done, and if not, we'll figure out what happens. So this is kind of the 12-week guideline, I'd say, or timeline. In week 1, there's some preliminary steps that you may need to do. So I'll show you what that looks like. But if you haven't received authorization from DOR or whoever's paying you to go through discovery, then you'll want to do that. There's some initial materials to review, and you'll want to review your discovery staging record just to kind of look through it and familiarize yourself with it, or familiarize yourself with it. And then during week 1, you'll be jumping in on stage 1, the home or weeks 1 and 2, stage 1, home and neighborhood observations. Now, if you're going to do your home visit in week 2, you probably need to be setting it up in week 1. So be thinking that as you go through the stages, you may have to be thinking ahead to the next stage and what you need to do to be setting that up. Weeks 2 and 3, roughly, you might be working on stage 2, which is interviewing others. And again, those are generally through phone calls. Through weeks 3 through 6, you're probably focusing primarily on the discovery activities. And again, that was going out and doing stuff with the job seeker related to their interest to learn about their skills and how they learn, and confirm that those are really areas of interest that might lead to vocational themes. Through weeks like 6 to 9, you're probably working on stage 4, which is verifying vocational themes through the informational interview. So at this point, you're kind of going more out in the community and talking with people in those businesses that share vocational themes. And in weeks 10 to 12, you're kind of wrapping up. So you're summarizing the vocational profile and what you've learned, and the person's 3 themes and their ideal conditions of employment, and then developing that job, what we call the career plan, or the list of 20 with the person's team, or if they're leaning towards self-employment, it might be a business development plan. So again, for each stage, you're going to review the content on the portal. You're going to complete the activities, and it lines it out on the portal what you need to do. And then you're going to upload your discovery staging record for that particular stage onto the portal, and then I'll give you some feedback. And I either mark it as approved, or I can't remember what the other one says, needs something, needs more, or something. So you might, stage 1 might go back and forth a couple of times, because the idea is to give you feedback. So don't, I wouldn't expect anybody to not get some feedback, to not have something come back a couple of times. And remember that it's not just the online part. I mean, we will have this online mentoring platform, but also I'm going to be available for a couple of days in April and a couple of days in May, where if you want some on-site technical assistance, if you'd like me to go and, let's say, model a home visit or go on an informational interview with you, I would be glad to do that. And just know that you're always welcome to call or email or, anything you need, just kind of holler. So, I'm going to do a little walkthrough now through the actual portal so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to escape out of this. Give me a second here. And the first place we're going to go is to the registration form. So I will later today send you a link to this registration form. And when you open it up, you'll see the GHA logo. And you'll see it's the PEC Discovery Mentoring Program. And here you'll see, by checking this box, I certify that my supervisor and I have downloaded and read the mentorship program description. So if you can just click on this, and here's the description itself. Give me just a second here to open up. And you'll see that this just kind of describes the program, what participants are expected to do. First of all, who can even participate. That you've completed ACRE, that you've got a job seeker identified who's willing to do this. You're agreeing to complete the discovery process with that job seeker, and read the materials and documents and look at the feedback that I provide through the course. And also you'll be doing that activity log, which is just really a log of your time. We're also asking that you complete the DSR, the Discovery Staging Record, the Plan for Employment, and a visual resume. Remember, we talked about those in the ACRE training. So as you're going through Discovery, remember, you need to be taking pictures, videos. We can talk about how you want to do yours. They might look a little bit different for everybody. And then again, that you're completing about 40 hours of field work. There's not really a minimum. That was kind of in there for another state. But we're estimating, that you probably will be spending half a day to a day each week to complete these activities. And so we do want your supervisor's approval on that. If needed, we may be able to extend the 12-week program timeline. I'm hoping not to. I'm hoping we can get everybody through in 12 weeks, but stuff happens. You don't know. So I'll work with you on that. And I'm assuming that I'll be spending about 8 hours with each of you, either looking through reviewing the documents you submit, or with emails or phone calls. We've kind of broken it down this way, that there's going to be some time I spend with you around discovery and thinking about next steps. There's going to be some time I spend with you on the discovery staging record itself and the way it's written up, and also some time for the visual resume. So I think you just need to check that you've reviewed that with your supervisor. Any questions so far? I'll pause for a minute. Or just jump in, Jess, if you see any questions in the chat box.
Will do.
So here, this is pretty straightforward. You just fill in your contact information, your supervisor's information, and then just hit finish. And once you do that, you will shortly afterwards get another email that gives you a different link. So this first link I'm going to send you is just to the registration page. Once you register and get the follow-up email, it will have the link that you probably want to bookmark, because that's the way that you'll be accessing the online program. So I'm going to show you now what the online program looks like. Once you're registered, and it will ask you a little bit of information on your Jobseeker one. There's a way that when you are registering, you put in the job seeker's initials so that you know who that is. And sometimes we're using this with programs that are working on more than one job seeker. So there is the option to add a second job seeker, but they're only referred to here as job seeker 1 and job seeker 2. And for this project, we're just working with one job seeker. So just know that you have that. When you get the initial email to get, or the initial link for the actual site, it'll tell you, use the password change me for the first time you get in, and then it'll prompt you once you get in to change your password to something that that you can remember better. But if you ever want to change your password again, you can here. There's a message box, so you'll see if there's any messages there for you, or if you want to compose a message to me, you can do it here. The Jobseeker Dashboard is just kind of where you start and who you're working with. And then down here on the left, you'll see the introduction, preliminary steps, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So here's the introduction, which just tells you a little bit about each step and what you'll be doing. If you go, I think this is where I go. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to, this takes me to preliminary steps. And for instance here, so during this, again, you're just going to read the material. And under this one, this is just some preliminary material we'd like you to look at. This first one is the Customized Employment Plan Design Guide, which is really just an overview of the whole discovery process. So you'll feel like this is just, okay, this is just a summary of what we covered in ACRE, but it's just to kind of get you refreshed. One of the things that we find people often struggle with is the developing vocational themes. So this is kind of an extra tool for that. You may use it, you may not, but we're just trying to get you thinking about themes up front, so I'd like you to review that. And then this Discovery Mentorship Task or Activities List. And this one, I think, I'm going to open it, because I think you really may want to print this out. I'll show you what it looks like. You may want to print it or save it somewhere and kind of use it as a guide, because it kind of helps you go through week by week what you need to be doing. So during week 1 in preliminary steps, you need to read the assigned course materials, review the staging record for content or questions, and make sure the job seeker is identified and confirmed. And again, you'll see for each stage, it's kind of the same thing, that you've scheduled and completed your home visit, complete your neighborhood visit, identify at least 2 other people to be interviewed, and then to enter your notes on the DSR and upload it. So this is a good little overview of actually what you need to do step by step. I'm going to close this out. We're going to go back to the mentoring program then. Okay, so for preliminary steps, that was your reading. We're also asking that you review the DSR, and you have a link to a blank one here. So you're going to want to download that and use that one. So in each time when you fill it out and you upload it and send it to me, I'll send it back with my initials so that you know that that's the one that I've been working on. And I'll use the editing tools to, to give you some comments and things. And then make sure you save that version and that that's the version you're working on, so that we're always working on the same version back and forth. So that's that. Identifying and confirming the job seeker. There's a little, remember, this is a team approach, so there's some things you may want to do to get the individual ready for this, to kind of explain the discovery process with the person and their team and kind of get that team on board and supporting this. Also, if there's any release of information forms that you need to share information with us, you need to get those including the photo video releases. That's the third piece. And then the fourth piece is the time log. I think I can show you, well, this is where I want to show you. Let me wait till we get to the next stage and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So that's the preliminary steps. Then I'm going to go to stage 1. And right now, you're blocked from all other stages. Once you register, you can see preliminary steps and you can see stage 1. But you won't be able to see the rest of the stages until you've submitted the discovery staging record and that stage has been approved. And once that approves, then that opens up stage 2 for you. So, again, here with stage 1, the home and neighborhood observation. There's a little bit of reminder here. Just read through about, just kind of reminding you what you're looking for, what kinds of prompting questions you might ask. I think there's a little bit up here on the setup. So this again should be review, using smooth listening, some probe questions you might ask, but it should be pretty easy to kind of whiz through. It's just reminders. Again, there's some information on the neighborhood visit and what we're looking for there, because that's part of that stage. And also during the home visit, remember that you're kind of prepping for stage 2, which is interviewing others. So you want to be thinking about identifying who those stage 2 people might be, who wasn't at the home visit that you might still want to talk to, and it might be siblings, it might be former teachers or former staff, it might be neighbors or friends or anybody like that. We also, in stage 1, part of it is looking at is if there's a need to get a benefits planning query. Remember, the BPQIs are those reports from Social Security that talk about what people's benefits are and what work incentives they may have used and what stage they're in. If they're getting SSDI, it also helps us know if they've used trial work periods or if they're in their extended period of eligibility. So we'll be working with you on getting a benefits planning query. And also, this isn't necessary for everybody, but a referral for an assistive technology assessment. Generally, it might be people who have more significant physical disabilities or sensory impairments. But if there's some reason that you think that assistive technology would be helpful for this person, we might want to get that referral going as well. Okay, then entering notes onto the DSR. What we've given you here is sort of an example of what we think a good DSR would look like. So again, the form sometimes is short. Sometimes it looks like it's looking for short answers if you print the form out, but we're really looking for some rich information here. So this is just an example you can walk through to get an idea of what we're going to be looking for. and then uploading the job seeker staging record. So when you've read through material, now you've done the home and neighborhood visit, you've written it all up on your discovering staging record, and you go here and it'll just ask you to select a file. And when you select, so put that up. When you select your file, it will upload it into the system so that I can get at it and give you feedback. And the last thing you want to do then is to submit your time. And let me show you what that looks like. So again, this is time that you're going to be actually doing discovery or recording discovery, not time that's spent with me, communicating with me, or time spent reading the course materials, because we see that as extra time. We just want to get a grip on what is happening or how long it's actually taking to do discovery. So let's say, I think, what's the day, the 18th? Yeah. Let's say I put in the date, and let's say today I did the home visit, or whatever it is you did that day. It can just be kind of short. And then on this drop-down menu where it says activity type, there's only two choices. You're either doing discovery activities or you're documenting discovery activities. So I'm going to say I'm doing the home visit. It'll give me another drop-down menu for location. And I did that in the job seeker's home. Again, you only have a few choices there. I'm going to say it took an hour and a half of actually doing it and another 30 minutes of travel time to get there and back. So that's all you need to do, just add time log. Now, I know that that was the time for the discovery visit, but now I might also, on that same day, let's say it's today again, I might say I'm going to write up DSR about the home visit. Okay? So then I'm going to hit documentation, and I'm going to say maybe I did that in my office, and I'm going to say that took another hour. Or however long it takes you. So make sure that you're documenting your documentation time as well as your time actually doing it. And I gotta remind people too. I mean, people always say, I've been doing discovery, but I just haven't gotten around to fill out the forms. It's like you really do have to schedule that time in. So know that, like, if you have a home visit, to schedule yourself in some time that afternoon to write it up. Or if your home visit's at the end of the day, maybe you're scheduling time the next morning, because you want to do it while it's fresh, for sure, because, it's easy to forget if you don't. Or at least, make some time maybe to do some bullets, even if you don't have time to get to your office right then and do that. So that's it. And, stage one is kind of a hefty stage. Some of them are a little lighter, some of them are a little heftier. Stage one's definitely a heftier one. And I can't show you the rest because I'm signed in as a student, and it'll say this stage is not yet available for Job Seeker 1 because I haven't turned in my discovery staging record and been approved to go on to stage 2. But once you turn that in, you'll see the following stages, and they're all kind of set up in the same pattern. Is that you'll see there's be a little bit of reading and information on what you need to do, and a prompt to upload the job seeker's discovery staging record, and a prompt to record the time. So I think that's it. I think I'm just going to pause and see if there's any questions. Anybody there? Just if you would write down who the people are that are actually online today, so we know who to get this information back out to.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Holly says here, but no questions at the moment.
Okay. Look pretty straightforward.
I'm here. I just don't have any questions at the moment either.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sheila.
Well, that's all there is to it. So I'll be getting that link to you, the registration link, and just go ahead and register. And then again, you'll get, after you register, you'll get a follow-up link that's actually the link to the online mentoring program. And that's where you go in and use the password change me, and there'll be directions when you get this. Use the directions change me to change it to your own password. And that's it. So I'll be looking forward to seeing DSRs from you, but really feel free to email me. You can either email through this messages here, or you can just email me directly. That's fine too. If you have any questions or if you need anything, and I thank you for participating today. And this will be fun.
So much.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks.
And we'll sign off.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Janet. I'm gonna